My name is Anna. I'm an operations manager. I actually work with Sadie at the Live Oak Clinic here in San Antonio. I'm no longer a military spouse. My husband's a veteran. He got out in 2012, but he was in the United States Army from 2005 to 2013. He did deploy during the invasion, which was around early 2000s, which was from 2005 to 2006. And with that, my husband, when he got out of the military, he became a metropolitan police officer in the city of Las Vegas. This is where we're originally from. So I kind of have that double, I guess, viewpoint when it comes to the military and law enforcement. And to be quite honest with you, I don't even really know what's harder. My husband was a police officer in Vegas for 7 years. He just recently got out of the department this past November when we relocated here in Texas. I was very young when 9/11 had happened. I was a freshman in high school and I was living in the West Coast at the time. So when it occurred, it was like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So when I got to school, everybody was kind of just talking about it. And I was so young and naive, like I didn't really know the capacity of what was going on. So it was really hard. Like my full comprehension and understanding of what was happening wasn't fully there. And obviously, as we got older and, you start to see like, man, like that's heavy. And I think a lot of our husbands, they joined the military due to that event. I know my husband did. He was obviously a little younger. He was younger when, 9/11 happened, but he was able to enlist in 2004. And he deployed, like I said, in 2005. And I know you guys can all agree with me, but the military lifestyle, it molds you as a person. It affects you in very many ways. You become very resilient. You know how to show compassion towards others because of it. It really molds you on how to deal with different situations in life because we're exposed to such things so early. Like I remember dealing with a husband in war when I was 19. And, as far as 19-year-olds nowadays, I wouldn't want anybody to have to worry about that. Having to pay bills while your husband, you don't know if you're going to hear from your husband again. And, deployments back in early 2000s is a lot different than deployments nowadays. Like we didn't have FaceTime, they didn't have reliable internet. My husband was still using calling cards when he would call me, and it was a scary experience. And then obviously when my husband got out, my husband was a military police officer. When he got out of the military of the Army, he became a law enforcement officer. And I don't even really know if that was even more scary because a city like Las Vegas, it's a huge city and it's just a huge crime rate. I don't know if you guys can recall the Route 91 shooting that we had in Las Vegas in 2017 when a gunman literally just rained fire on a country concert. My husband was one of the first people that was in the casino that responded to that. And I just remember getting a phone call. Hey, Anna, I'm on my way to active shooter and I'll call you when it's done. And, how do you respond to that as a wife? It's scary and it's hard. But so with that, just going back to our topic, I'm sorry, I tend to kind of rag on, but I think military spouses we are one of the strongest women that I know, just because of the emotional toll that it takes on us, how much of a front we have to put up, and how strong we have to remain on the outside, not only for ourselves, but for our children, for our families. And I will always have passion towards the military and law enforcement. I advocate very, 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 very strongly with all of our military. Just being an operations manager at Live Oak, I love the fact that our clinic is like 80 to 90% TRICARE, just because I still get to have that interaction with, military families and military service members, because I still hold to that. Like that is something that the military is a part of me, regardless if my husband is in or not, because that was the lifestyle that we lived for so long. And you just hold on to those, values that you learn as a military spouse. You really do. And yeah, so that's my side. So if you guys have any questions, or like I said, I was able to kind of understand 9/11 has been, the more that I get, obviously the more I became mature in understanding the whole situation, the more it becomes harder every year. With this whole Afghanistan thing that just is occurring, my husband, I mean, I just like your husbands, I'm pretty sure they're pretty angry, because my husband's pretty angry for a little bit. But I just have to support him. He carries a lot of baggage that he may not talk about due to that. And just because he's no longer in the military, that doesn't mean that my support for him stops, because you still have to, because there's still a lot of mental things that go on. And a lot of civilians don't really understand that. And with that, my husband also carries mental baggage from being a law enforcement officer as well, and all the things that he's seen. So it's it but overall, I'm very proud of everything that I've been through. I'm very proud of everything that my husband has accomplished, all of his accolades that he's gotten with the military, and also being a law enforcement officer has been great. And I'm always going to be, a supportive of the military and our law enforcement, regardless of what happens.